Bienvenue! Welcome to MotoMonaco. Round 5 of the Moto3 World Championship season took place at the Mugello circuit in Italy for the Italian Motorcycle Grand Prix. And it saw the unexpected return of Monaco's brightest motorcycling talent for many years, Kevin Camelot. He managed to get a last minute deal together to run for the same team as he did in Jerez. And just before Friday practice, we caught up with him to see how he was feeling ahead of his second motorcycling Grand Prix weekend.
Yeah, this was very last minute. I don't know. Oh, it was just 72 hours ago. I think this deal came together. You know, sponsors stepped up again thanks to Primo for that, and Ongoda had a bike available, and so we decided to, take a chance this weekend at Mugello. I love the Mugello circuit. Italian Grand Prix, another great fixture on the great event on the Grand Prix motorcycling calendar, and I wouldn't ask for a better place to take my second start in the championship. I'm really excited for this. I really think we can do well this weekend. I've got a great team here, got a great support as well from all around the world, and I'm expecting to do a bit better than I did in my first Grand Prix. That's a lot to ask, but I think with the team here, I think we can do much better than we did in Jerez. Challenge for podium. That's our aim. Can't wait.
As you could see, Camelot was in buoyant mood ahead of the Friday free practices. And this was another circuit he knew well, which could really help him in qualifying and the race. The Mugello circuit, held in northern Italy among some picturesque mountains, is an adventure in on itself. The circuit is very tough on the brakes after the long straights which really strain the engines. And it's tough on the riders as well, with constant direction changes at high speeds, and to really get a fast lap here you have to work with the flow of the circuit. And the Italian Motorcycle Grand Prix is one of the oldest events on the motorcycling Grand Prix calendar, and so the fans are very knowledgeable and have lots of riders and teams to root for. In Moto3 they have Romano Fenati, who almost won here last season, but was only 100th of a second behind Maverick Vinales at the line. Again, they have Fenati to cheer on this year, and in Moto2 they have Simone Corsi as well. And of course in MotoGP they have the likes of Andrea Dovizioso, Andrea Iannone, Michele Pirro, and the Doctor Valentino Rossi, as well as the team Ducati to cheer on. And so the Mugello is one of the most popular on the calendar, and it always provides a thrilling race. And to talk about this circuit and the qualifying and the race for Moto3, once again we have Alex Piccioni.
The Mugello circuit is the venue for the Italian Motorcycling Grand Prix and the 5th round of the Moto3 World Championship season. The lap record is held by Jorge Lorenzo of 148.4, but don't expect our boys to be anywhere near that. It has 9 right-hand turns and only 6 left-hand turns over its 5.2 kilometre circuit. As you can see, it has a very long front straight, and into turn 1 or zone 1 is a prime overtaken hotspot, as if you can get a great run out of the very long turn 15 left-hander, you have a very long straight to take advantage of slipstream and maybe outbrake your rival into that first turn. Zone 2, if you're very brave, is in the fast right and left hand corners in the middle of the lap, and you have to really take advantage of your opponent making a mistake in the previous left and right turns. Zone 3 is a bit easier, with a right hand turn where you can do a block pass and try and keep your rival behind going into the next left hander. But as is the Mugello circuit, and we are waiting to see what Kevin Camelot can do on his new FTR Honda in qualifying, and he got it again in 5th spot and in the top 5 for his second Moto3 World Championship race. But it was Maverick Vinales on pole ahead of Alex Rins, Luis Salom, Hones, Volga, Oliveira in 7th behind him, and Alex Marquez rounded out the top 10, with Kurudin, Sistis, Isaac Vinales, Antoni, and homeboy Finati rounding out the top 15. As now we are waiting to go on to race day and see these nice conditions for the riders, with no wind at all and very good track conditions. 52 degrees Celsius the track condition, and air only 25 degrees Celsius. And so we are on the grid in 5th position, with Kevin Camelot with this superb glide cam again behind him as he gets the start, and it looks like it's been another slow one for him as rivals are just swamping him into the run to turn 1, as he is really dropping back and maybe even dropping outside the top 10 as we go sweeping into turn 1. And he's gone a bit wide. He has gone wide, but he can cut back for a fast exit as we go into the left and right hand turns of 2 and 3, and there's good fighting in front as he has remained in the top 10, as there's good fighting behind him. And Luis Salom has taken the lead of the race from Maverick Vinales, but Alex Marquez has got up to 6th position ahead of Kurudin, who finished ahead of Camelot in Jerez. Remember, he was 4th, Camelot was 5th, as he is battling hard with Vasquez and has got past him into that sweeping downhill right hand turn, and he's just held it for the left as he's making contact with Sistis in front, and takes a look into the right hand turn but can't quite get past his Spanish rival as we go on to the top of the hill and approach the overtaking hotspot zone 3, as this is the right hand turn where you can maybe dive it down your inside of your rival and then block them off. But it looks like Camelot isn't close enough to the guys in front to do that, as Vasquez is all over the back of him and is maybe trying to look to make a move, but Camelot has got a great run out of that left hand, has got past this is into 8th as he does an endo. He almost loses the front of the bike as the back wheel was in the air, but he somehow kept it going, and now Marcus is back down to 7th, who is ahead of Camelot, who is very aggressive on defense into the left hand turn there through the far chicane, now approaching the final corner and the end of lap 1. There's only 4 laps after this one as he gets on the back of his old rival and gets past 2 riders out of that corner. Can he make it 3 as he has a superb final corner to end the first lap and works his way back up to 6th position, but those starts will no doubt worry him as he keeps falling back there and needs to improve them in future races. As Salom leads from Vinales, Rins and Folger in front, as Oliveira is getting past behind him. He's dropped back to 9th position as there's good fighting in front of Camelot. He's gone a bit wide in turn 1, but through 2 and 3 he can see his rivals in front and seems to have a very good pace around this Mugello circuit. The bike seems to be very well set up. The braking is not quite there at the moment, but as the tyres warm up, as the brakes warm up, I've been informed that he will get much better, as Kurudin is in front of him, his rival from the last race. But it looks like Camelot's got a great run out of turn 5, I believe that is, or into the right hand, and now down the hill he's got past up into the top 4. He can see the 3 main championship rivals in front as he got past Folger. He really does like those downhill right hand turns, and he's showing where he can pass on these overtaking hotspots we highlighted before the race. Is now he goes into the final overtaking hotspot, but he's in a world of his own here, as no one seems to be close behind him on this lap, but he is catching the guys in front. His bike is very well set up for this circuit, as it looks like the brakes have come in as well, and he hasn't really run wide in the second part of this lap at all. He's not even endoing into this long right hander, a very difficult corner, a very frustrating corner, as you want to get on the power but you have to leave it off and then really get on it on the exit of the corner, as he sees the top 3 in the championship. They are the top 3 in the race in front of him as we go into the final sweeping left hand corner, a very lovely corner to watch a motorcycle bike go through, and I would highly recommend it if you were up in the banks to watch the motorcycle bike go through that corner. It really does show the skill of these riders and how beautiful these bikes are. As Salom leads from Vinales, Rins, and there is Camelot in 4th position ahead of Folger. In front then Karudin, Marquez, Sissis and Vasquez, with Oliveira rounding out the top 10 as he goes a bit wide again into turn 1. He really has not worked out the braking into that corner as Folger now drops out of the top 5, and the Malaysian rider Karudin gets past him into the top 5 as we have got Camelot riding down on a charging bull as he chases down the 3 Spanish riders in front as he goes into the left and right chicane, and didn't quite get that right, but now he's going into his favourite corner it seems on the circuit so far. He's overtaken 2 guys here, but he can't overtake anyone on this lap so far, but you can really see the riders in front coming clearer into the distance as we're about halfway through the race, and Rins is just a second in front of him with a 1.8 second gap behind him to 5th place Karudin, and so he has really got a nice gap at the moment. It can concentrate on catching the guys in front now into the right and left, our final overtaking hot spot. But he looks like he's got a brilliant exit out of the left-hander. Can he maybe make a move into the sweeping right? He doesn't look like he's quite close enough at the moment. Maybe the next lap. So he now goes through that right-hander, goes wide in the middle part and then sweeps back in towards the apex on the exit. But he looks like he got on the power a bit too early, ran a bit wide, but he's got some speed through the left, through the right, and he's making a move on Rins, who seems to have made a mistake on the exit. And Camelot is in the podiums. Camelot is on a podium position in only his 2nd Moto3 World Championship race, as now he goes out of the sweeping left-hander side by side with Vinales, but it looks like Salom has made a bit of a gap to his Spanish rival, and Camelot has had to stop back into 3rd position behind Vinales as we go on to lap 4, the penultimate lap of the race, and Salom does the fastest lap of the race as Camelot is now overtaken by Rins down that straight. The straight line speed of his bikes doesn't seem to really be there as he finally hooks up turn 1 and did the fastest lap of the race on the last lap, a 2:05, over 15 seconds slower than the lap record from Jorge Lorenzo from 2011. It shows how much slower these bikes are compared to the MotoGP bikes, but they are still very tough to ride and a great challenge for young and coming riders. As you can see, he's all over the back of Rins. Did he give the Spanish rider a little touch there? I don't know, but he goes into his favourite passing spot, the right-hander. A very brave move, and he gets back up into a podium position in 3rd spot as he can see the front 2 maybe fighting. Vinales seems to have caught back up to Salom as Rins had a little look into that right-hander, but you can never make a move there to go into the right-hander at the top of the hill now and go over the crest and into the zone 3 passing spot now into the right, and he has a superb exit on the left. It seems his bike is very well hooked up for this left-hander, and it looks like he's got another great run again as he uses all of the curb and the extensions, the green AstroTurf or green concrete on the X6. Not a favourite of the riders, but it seems to be a favourite of Camelot on that corner as he takes a little look at Vinales, but maybe he can set up another move out of this left and right chicane, the fastest chicane on the circuit, as he gets right behind Vinales. Next round is outside as he got past the Spanish rider. He looks like he has got up to 2nd spot as Vinales takes a look down the inside, but around the outside Camelot just carries more speed, has more confidence on the brakes, and he's up to 2nd spot. This is a brilliant ride from the Monaco rider as he goes on to the final lap of the race. Remember, this was a last minute deal and he had practice and only qualifying to get used to the bike before this race, and it looks like Vinales has got the straight line speed again as the gearing on Camelot's brakes, they either seem to be very short, and he just doesn't seem to have the straight line speed, but he gets around the outside of Vinales. He is taking no nonsense from the young Spanish rider, one of the favourites for the titles. Vinales fights back, brilliant fighting between the young pair in here as Vinales now managed to pull away a bit, but Salom, he's getting away in the distance. Maybe the hopes of a win for Camelot are fading away as Rins takes a look down the inside into the left-hander and through the right-hander. Here comes Camelot onto the back of Vinales. Can he make a move into his favourite passing spot here? Down the hill, through the right-hander. It doesn't look like he's close enough, but through the left he has got a good run. He is all over the back of Vinales. Did he give a little nudge to Vinales? He seems to catch riders unexpectedly out of that corner, but now he dives down the inside of Vinales. Very hard and tough move from Camelot, and now he sets about catching Salom in the second half of this lap, of the final lap of this Moto3 World Championship race, round 5 at Mugello in Italy. As we go through the right, he's gone a bit wide through the left. He hasn't got the drive this time out of the corner. Salom has made some few meters up as now we go into the right-hander, the very frustrating and tricky right-hander, as you have to go wide in the middle of the corner and then put it back towards the apex, and Camelot has done that beautifully as he goes through the left and now through the right. Can he carry the speed? Can he carry momentum and challenge Salom into the final corner of the race as he takes a note down the inside of Salom? He takes a note down the inside as he made the move. He nudges, he's in the lead, he's in the lead on the last corner as Camelot won his second Moto3 World Championship race. He is ahead of Salom. Where is Salom? Does he get the slipstream on Camelot? Remember, his gearing is not quite there as Salom is gaining, he's gaining, but it looks like Camelot has won. Camelot has won for Monaco. He's won his first Moto3 World Championship race by under a tenth of a second. Ahead of Salom, Vinales, Rins, Korudin, Marquez in 6th, Folger dropped down to 7th, Sisters, Vasquez in 9th, and Oliveira completed the top 10 with Grando for Brazil again, the final points paying position. But that race was all about Camelot, and a brilliant last lap from the Monaco rider, showing his class, his skill. What a fantastic race, wasn't it, Philippe? What a fantastic race.
Thank you, Alex, and what a fantastic result. And we talked to Camelot after the race.
I can't believe it. I can't. I'll say first Grand Prix win, and you know, it's such a last minute deal with Ongeda, but they just provided a perfect bike all weekend. And so yeah, the FTR Honda was perfect all weekend in practice. In qualifying, I was disappointed, the whole team were disappointed that we didn't get a better start. I made a few mistakes on my qualifying that, but then in the race, you know, another slow start, I have to improve those. But yeah, the bike just got stronger as the race went on, and then getting Lewis in the last corner, I just can't I can't believe it. I have to thank the team, you know, brilliant team, and I have to thank, you know, sponsors, I have to thank family, friends, all the support from, you know, all over the world now. You know, I got to thank them, and yeah, I'll be back for the Saxon Wing in Germany. You know, there's going to be a tough circuit, and you know, tough weekend to follow up what for sure has been my best weekend ever in motorcycle racing. And you know, for sure I'm going to try and repeat this. repeat this. And so yeah, I can't believe it. We're going to celebrate for sure all week long. So yeah, see you in Germany.
An understandably emotional Kevin Camelot there, as he got his first motorcycling Grand Prix win in only his second start. What a glorious start to the young Monegasque rider's career, and we now know he will return to the Moto3 World Championship grid in Germany for round 8 at the Saxon Wing. And you can bet MotoMonaco will be there to follow this young rider at the event. But before then, we have the Catalan Grand Prix in Barcelona, and then a couple of weeks later at the famous old Assen circuit, the Dutch Grand Prix. So till next week, au revoir, goodbye.